Welcome students of Thakur Vidya Mandir High School and Junior College. Students, we are back with Chapter 1 Rotational Dynamics Part 3. Rotational Dynamics Part 3 basically deals with moment of inertia acting on a rotating body with a fixed axis of rotation. Let's go through the diagram which shows a body of n particles. A fixed axis of rotation is moving with an angular velocity omega. The mass of the particles are represented by m1, m2 and mn, so on. The radius of gyration, that is the rotational radiation, is given by r1, r2 and rn, so on. Let's move on to what do you understand by rotational inertia. Rotational inertia is defined to be the moment of inertia about the given axis of rotation. It basically depends on individual masses and distribution of masses. Students, let's go through the derivation of rotational inertia. The translational kinetic energy of the first particle is given by the formula kinetic energy equals half m1 v1 square, which could be well written as half m1 r1 omega square. Thus, the rotational kinetic energy of all particles is the summation or addition, which is written as half m1 r1 omega square plus m2 r2 omega square, so on with the last particle which is mn rn omega square. Thus, the moment of inertia is summation of m r square, which could be in turn written as kinetic energy equals half I omega square. Let us talk about the radius of gyration. The relation which we derived as the moment of inertia of any object is I equals mk square, where capital M represents the mass of that particular object which is at an effective distance of capital K. Then K is defined as nothing but the radius of the gyration of that particular object. Let's go through the two theorems that are mentioned in the chapter. First one is theorem of parallel axis. As you see in the diagram, students, we are having two axes which are parallel to each other. Consider a rigid body of mass m rotating about an axis through the point O and perpendicular to the plane of the figure. Let IO be the moment of the inertia passing through the axis MOP, and let IC be the moment of the inertia passing through the axis AXB. When I start on with the theorem of the parallel axis, I consider a mass element dm which is located at a point D. When you see back in the diagram, it is very clearly stated that the moment of inertia at AXB is IC, which is given as an integral of dc square dm. The moment of inertia at MOP is IO, which is an integration of do square dm. Since the moment of inertia is IO, which is an integral of do square dm, do square dm is an addition of dn square plus no square. When I take on the integration value of these additions, I get a total final value which is written as IO, that is the inertia at the point O is given by integral of dc square dm plus 2h multiplied by the integral of nc multiplied by dm plus h square integral of dm. When we solve the students, we get the values that the integral of dc square dm is nothing but the moment of inertia passing through the axis AXB, and integral of dm is nothing but the mass of the particle. So the final formula which we obtained out is I0 equals IC plus mh square. This proves the theorem of the parallel axis about the moment of inertia. The moment of inertia about the parallel axis is the square of the perpendicular distance between the two parallel axes and the product of its masses. The second theorem that we are going to go through is theorem of perpendicular axis. This theorem states that the moment of inertia of a plane lamina about an axis perpendicular to its plane is equal to the sum of its moment of inertia about two mutually perpendicular axes concurrent with the perpendicular axis and lying in the plane of the laminar body. As you go through the diagram, students, you could see the three axes x, y and z and the particles which are being set out with the points M, P and N respectively. Consider a plane lamina of mass M. Let us go through the theorem of the perpendicular axis. The axes x, y are in the plane of the object while z axis is perpendicular to the laminar object. If I try to write down the perpendicular distances of the point M from the axis x, y and z, it could be written respectively as square root of y square plus x square. Let us proceed to the moment of the inertias which are acting on these three axes. If Ix, Iy and Iz are the moment of inertias, then moment of inertia at the point z or the z axis Iz could be written as integral of y square dm plus integral of x square dm, which is equal to the moment of inertias, that is Ix plus Iy. This is the mathematical form of theorem of perpendicular axis. Let us go on to two more examples of the angular momentum or the moment of linear momentum. What do you understand by angular momentum? Students, the quantity in the rotational mechanics is analogous to the linear momentum, which is nothing but angular linear momentum only. Therefore, you could see in the box written out here is the moment of linear momentum itself is called as angular momentum. It is similar to the torque being moment of a force. If I take small p as the instantaneous linear momentum of a particle, its angular momentum is given by a formula which is capital L equals R multiplied by P, where small r is the radius of the rotational object and P is the momentum of the particle which is moving in a rotational circle. If I try to take down the magnitude is nothing but the product of the linear momentum and the perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation. Thus, students, we complete on the different topics in the rotational moment of inertia. Go through the assignment questions. A few questions mentioned out here are define radius of gyration. Second one, on what factors does the radius of gyration depend and does not depend? I have stated you the factors that it is dependent upon the mass and the distribution of the masses. So correctly state your answers. The third question, write down the conditions on which the theorems of parallel and perpendicular axes are applicable. Fourth, state the mathematical expressions of the theorem of parallel axis. State the mathematical expression of the theorem of perpendicular axis. So we come to the end of this topic in part 3, rotational dynamics. For reference of e-textbook links, go through the links mentioned here. Thank you, students.